We also now have a fee in lieu of, where you can just pay a fee instead of buying land and dedicating it for up to 2 points. There's different ways, is my point.
I have a question. On the item we just made a decision before to purchase, are you the owner of both of those lots?
Yes, I am. I'm the owner of both.
And Ms. Hurley, if she dedicated that one lot for conservation instead of us purchasing it, how would that help her get more points or to get what would that do? Would it give it a big boost?
The biologists look at that and they make a determination of what quality it is, and she gets up to 4 points depending on the quality.
Are they contiguous?
Mm-hmm.
The two lots?
Looks 28 and 29.
Looked like it. Well,
So you could even aggregate the lots.
We do have points for aggregation, right, Susan? Yeah. So she needs
Christine,
about 10
when
more.
you give an allocation, is that in perpetuity?
No, you have 60 days to either pick up your building permit, although, well, I'm not even going to go into that. That's
Right.
another issue. You have 60 days to pick up your building permit, but if you're on the FEMA injunction list, based on the resolution passed by the board a couple years ago, you can ask to hold your allocation in abeyance because you're on FEMA injunction.
2 years.
No set maximum.
so it takes an allocation out of the system from now on.
And we'll be having an agenda item coming to you all soon about all that, because you need to understand the dynamics of what's going on with those allocations.
But that only applies to people who need or want the insurance, the FEMA list.
Or that need a mortgage because it requires insurance, right?
So there's no longer a time frame? I thought it was a year and then it was extended to 2 years or something that,
Not on the FEMA list.
because
was.
don't we have
The-
people that are?
No, you're correct. The first resolution you all passed, I just studied all these resolutions. The first resolution you all passed originally, I think, set 18 months or some time period for how long they could be held. You've actually passed 3 resolutions related to the FEMA injunction list.
And what we've been doing is trying to give relief to folks who are caught up in this. And what we've been doing is trying to give relief to folks who are caught up in this. But what's happening is allocations are getting caught up and no building is taking place.
Over 100 at least.
On those properties, and that's the trap that I think that we're getting into in extending this time frame and tying up these allocations. And my question to you would be, are you prepared to build without flood insurance, with no mortgage?
My friend, the realtor, was telling me, she gave me an application that she says that I fill out and I send in something, and then they decide whether they were going to release it out of the FEMA list. And then I'll know. Once they release it, then, but I won't know until FEMA decides, answers back to me after I send in the application.
So what you're saying is we should hold off on this until you find that out? I mean, what are you asking us to do?
I don't know, because I don't know how long FEMA will take to answer me back. I've never done this before.
But you
Meantime,
don't.
we're buying lots.
Right, and they're reviewing the biological opinion that has been rendered for that.
Yeah.
And who knows? And they may not even accept it, the biological opinion, and then it gets continued. The way I understand this, if you're going to build, you're going to have the wherewithal to build without flood insurance. And you're not going to be able to get a mortgage without flood insurance.
Well, it all depends if you get off the FEMA list. Am I correct?
Yeah, and we have no idea.
And you need a mortgage, you would have to have the insurance. Let me ask you this. Excuse me a minute, George. When something is, you're telling me that when you first put in this permit, the plans for this building, et cetera, that they were accepted and it was buildable in what we understand.
Right.
Did you get 20 points or 30 points?
No, when you first start, you don't get that many points. When you were in the ROGO list, you start with about 17, 18 points, because it was in the old system, not the tier
Right.
system. So that's how many points you started. I started that, when I put it in, I think it was 19 points back then when it first started. And in order for you to get a permit, you only had to have, I think it was 22 or 24 points, which was not bad. You had 4 years to wait and you could get your permit. But then when the tier system changed from the ROGO to the tier, that's when the points went different.
But did you get credit for the new type points?
No, I'm on the bottom of the list.
She's saying, yes, you did.
Well,
That's what
I
I
did
was
now?
asking. So what I'm trying to find out, if anybody knows, is what was she rescored, as a tier 3 or a tier 3A? That's 20 points.
So right now I have 28 points.
So what do we do here, guys?
I don't know, I think so, I don't know what it is. So let's say that it's 28 points, and right now they're giving permits at 36 to 38, so it would take me probably, what, another 4 to 5 years to get the permit? So no, I did do nothing else. It would take me 4 to 5 years, and I will still get the permit in another 4
So
years.
she can't build anyway.
But the point of all of this is to steer people to build in areas that are what you refer to as infill.
Well, steer them a little better, and I don't mean you. Steer them away from the 3As.
Well, this does. If this doesn't discourage
This
someone, I don't
does,
know
but
what.
not when they walk in, not when they're buying a lot, not when they walk in to get to start applying.
Or multiple lots. I believe this is the third one.
They have
This
many.
is, yeah, I had
Yeah,
the other
they
one that
have.
I
I've
just
seen
sold
their
because it
name on
became a
other
tier
ones.
1, and they said that it would take me like 15 years to get the permit. So I sold it to the county. The county just purchased it.
But that's okay, make a motion, go for it.
Well, I'll make a motion for purchase.
Yeah, and I'm going to second it, but I'm going to just remind the applicant that you don't have to accept this offer.
No.
And, you know, you got 2 lots here. You know, I'd probably give one away and see how many more points I can get on. Well, it gets you 2 years closer.
You're not losing standing. You're not losing, you don't have to accept a
Right.
purchase offer. It'll be offered to you, and you don't have to accept it, and you're not losing anything as far as your standing or the rating that you are.
There is a motion, you're the motion,
I think Heather made the motion.
and you're the second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Carruthers?
Yes.
Commissioner DeGennaro?
Regrettably, yes.
Commissioner Nugent?
Yes.
Commissioner Wigington?
Yes?
Mayor Murphy?
No.